The screen is black. A chilling violin note pierces the silence. Then, faint footsteps echo through a long, empty hallway. A raven screeches in the distance. Slowly, a faint glow of moonlight falls across Nevermore Academy's towering gates. They creak open as if the building itself is waking from a long, haunted dream. A voice cuts through the stillness. The shadows have returned, and they are waiting for her. Dark clouds swirl above the spires of Nevermore Academy. The air feels heavier than before, thick with a sense of unfinished business. The camera glides over the gothic rooftops, lightning flashing for only a second, illuminating the familiar walls that have held centuries of secrets. The gates moan open, slow and deliberate, revealing a path lined with dead leaves that whisper against the stone steps. The sound of a raven's wings cuts through the air as it perches on the highest spire. Watching, waiting, as though it knows what's coming, the scene shifts inside the academy. Hallways stretch endlessly, lit by flickering candlelight. The walls are decorated with portraits whose painted eyes follow the viewer, almost alive, almost warning. A clock strikes midnight, and with each chime, shadows deepen, crawling across the floor as though they have a mind of their own. The silence is broken by the faint echo of typewriter keys, slow at first. Then faster, louder, urgent, the words appearing on the page are blurred, unreadable. But one line lingers before the keys smash down again. The darkness is back. The camera pans to the quad, empty under the pale moonlight. The fountain at the center bubbles with water that looks almost black in the shadows. Then movement, a flash of someone walking across. The camera never reveals the face. Only the outline of a girl, braids swaying, steps deliberate, unafraid. Wednesday Addams. Her presence is unmistakable, even without a word. The world bends around her silence. The air grows colder, the narration whispers. The wait is over, Nevermore awakens again. And Wednesday Addams has unfinished business. Lightning cracks again, and for a brief second, we see strange carvings in the stone walls of the academy. Symbols never seen before, glowing faintly before fading back into darkness. The whispers of students echo faintly in the background. It's happening again. Did you hear what's coming? The voices overlap, a chorus of fear that grows louder and louder. Until silence falls once more, the camera pulls back, high above the academy, the building shrinking under the storm. The music swells, strings bending into sharp, unsettling notes. The raven takes flight again, circling the academy 3 times before vanishing into the night sky. And then, nothing but darkness. A single typewriter key slams down. The page reveals one chilling phrase. Season 3. Asterisk, the sound of dripping water echoes in a pitch-black tunnel. A lantern flickers to life, casting light on stone walls, carved with symbols ancient, unfamiliar, and pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. The camera follows the glow of the lantern as it moves deeper underground, revealing fragments of a forgotten place beneath Nevermore Academy. A voice whispers, cold and deliberate, every secret buried demands to be unearthed. The scene shifts sharply. The quad is alive again, but not with life, rather with whispers of paranoia. Students huddle in small groups, heads bowed close together. Their faces are pale, eyes darting toward the shadows as though something is watching them. Their voices overlap in fragments. It's starting again. She knows, but what if it's too late? The sound grows louder until the camera pans upward to the balcony above. Wednesday stands in silence, her face half hidden by shadow, gaze locked on the horizon. Her stillness is unnerving. She doesn't need to speak. Her silence is louder than their fear. Lightning splits the sky, cutting to a vision of the forest that borders Nevermore. Trees sway unnaturally as if something unseen moves between them. A pale hand brushes against a branch, leaving behind a trail of frost. The camera tilts, and for the briefest of moments, glowing eyes gleam from the darkness. The screen cuts black before the face is revealed. The narration continues, calm but sharp. A new semester begins. But the old dangers have never left. The halls of Nevermore flash before us. A mirror shatters, shards falling in slow motion. Ink from Wednesday's typewriter bleeds across the page, spreading far beyond the letters, staining everything. Black. A hand closes a dusty book, its cover branded with the same strange symbol seen underground. The shadow of a figure passes quickly, almost inhuman in movement. The music grows tense, a deep rumble underneath. A quick cut. Wednesday at her desk, typing relentlessly, her expression as unreadable as always. The words on the page reveal themselves this time. Trust no one. From there, the visuals spiral faster, Enid's cheerful smile fading as her claws extend, hesitation in her eyes. Gomez and Morticia walking the halls of Nevermore with unreadable expressions, as though they know more than they say. Uncle Fester laughing in the dark, his light bulb flickering, then going out. A masked figure slipping through a hidden passage. Cloak dragging along the stone, the voiceover whispers again. Some shadows return. Others have always been here, waiting. Suddenly the screen fills with movement. The Nevermore students gathered for class, only to have the doors slam shut behind them. Candles extinguish one by one until only darkness remains. A scream echoes. Silence follows. The music cuts entirely. Only the sound of a raven's wings fills the void. Then Wednesday's face, finally revealed in close-up, her eyes locking directly with the camera. She tilts her head slightly, expression cold, unbothered, yet aware. The typewriter clacks once more, words forming across the screen. Every story has a price. The camera fades into the forest again. A lone figure walks deeper into the trees. The audience never sees their face. All that remains is the sound of whispers building into a chorus, louder and louder, until it becomes unbearable. Just before the sound reaches its peak, everything cuts to silence again. A low voice delivers the closing line of this section. This time, even Wednesday Addams may not walk away untouched. The screen stays black for a few moments. The sound of typewriter. Key slams again. The word appears, 2026. Asterisk. The screen flickers into life with the crackle of a dying candle. The flame sputters, and for a moment the room is plunged into darkness. Then a face appears, Wednesday Addams, seated at her desk, pale features framed by her sharp black braids. She doesn't blink, she doesn't speak. Her hands rest on the keys of her typewriter. With a sudden strike, the clattering fills the silence. On the page, 3 words appear. They have returned. The scene cuts to Enid Sinclair. She bursts into frame, all color and energy, her bright sweaters glowing against Nevermore's dark halls. But the cheerfulness falters. Her claws extend involuntarily, her smile trembling as she looks over her shoulder at something unseen. The narration whispers, the loyal friend, forced to face the cost of her light. Morticia glides across the screen next, draped in black silk that shimmers like a pool of midnight. Her expression is serene, but her eyes burn with secrets. Gomez follows, sharp and steady, his shadow stretching unnaturally long behind him. Together, they stand at the edge of Nevermore's courtyard, watching the building with the gaze of guardians, or perhaps conspirators. A lightning strike splits the sky above them. Uncle Fester's laugh cuts through the darkness, manic and unsettling. Sparks of electricity dance across his hands as he stumbles through a hidden corridor. The camera lingers as his laughter fades into silence. The bulb in his palm flickers, struggling until it goes out completely. The screen stays black for several seconds, then the first glimpse of something new. A figure steps into frame, cloaked in heavy shadows. Their face remains unseen, but a silver chain glints around their neck. The chain bears the same strange symbol carved into the academy walls. The figure tilts their head ever so slightly, as if mocking the camera itself before vanishing in a blur of motion. The music quickens, a low, haunting string melody. Snapshots flash rapidly, a group of students sprinting down a hallway, chased by something in the dark. Enid clutching Wednesday's arm, eyes wide with fear. Morticia whispering into Wednesday's ear, though the words cannot be heard. A tear slipping down Wednesday's cheek, so rare, so fleeting that the camera almost doubts it happened at all. The narration sharpens. Every friend hides a secret, every family keeps a curse, and every enemy wears a mask. The screen. Fractures showing glimpses of new arrivals? One by one, faceless silhouettes stand against flames, mist, and moonlight. Their identities remain hidden, their intentions impossible to read. One holds a book bound in chains. Another lifts a hand wreathed in fire. A third figure kneels at a gravestone, whispering something that makes the earth tremble. The typewriter slams again. The words read, "Trust is a luxury." The visuals shift back to Wednesday. She sits alone at a dining table, the seats around her filled with blurred, indistinct figures. Their faces are smudged out, their mouths moving silently. Wednesday watches them, utterly still, before she finally speaks, her voice low, cold, deliberate. "I don't believe in friends. I believe in evidence." A sudden montage erupts, fast and violent. Enid screaming in the woods. Gomez wielding a sword under moonlight. Morticia's reflection cracking in a mirror. Uncle Fester running, electricity sparking off his hands uncontrollably. The cloaked figure again, this time closer. Standing right behind Wednesday, as she types yet she does not turn, the narration concludes in a whisper. Each word deliberate. Some will protect her, some will betray her, and some were never who they seemed to be. The music halts. Silence. Then, the camera zooms in on Wednesday's typewriter one last time. The page reads, "The game has begun." The screen cuts to black. Asterisk, the screen is black. A single sound breaks the silence. The sharp, deliberate strike of a typewriter key. Then another. And another. The rhythm grows louder, faster, until it sounds like a heartbeat made of steel. Words appear on a page slowly, one by one. This is only the beginning. The camera snaps to a flurry of images. Nevermore's hallways erupt in chaos, doors slamming. Candles extinguishing, shadows stretching across the floor like claws. The music swells, violent strings clashing with thunder. Students scatter, screams swallowed by the darkness. But Wednesday doesn't run. She walks straight into the storm, her silhouette framed against the lightning. Her steps echo louder than the thunder itself. The narration cuts in, voice sharp and measured. The secrets are deeper, the dangers darker, and the game has no rules. A blur of rapid cuts floods the screen, a book bursting into flames. Enid's claws slashing through the air, her face twisted between fear and fury. Gomez clashing swords with an unseen opponent, sparks flying as steel meets steel. Morticia standing before a shattered mirror, her reflection fractured into a dozen distorted versions. Uncle Fester cackling in the dark as his electricity arcs uncontrollably, striking stone walls and leaving them scorched, then silence. Complete silence. A figure steps into the frame, the cloaked stranger, their face still hidden. They lean forward, whispering words that the audience cannot hear. The camera zooms closer, closer, until only the shadow of their lips is visible. Then everything cuts to black. The sound of a raven fills the silence, wings beating violently against the wind. The camera follows it as it soars over Nevermore's spires, lightning crackling behind it. Below, the academy looks smaller, darker, like it's drowning beneath the weight of the storm. The screen flashes white. Images appear in quick succession, impossible to fully process. Wednesday's hand gripping a blood-stained page. Enid screaming in the rain. A grave opening by itself in the forest. The cloaked figure lifting their hand as shadows rise from the ground like smoke. The music rises again, faster, sharper. Each frame cuts quicker than the last, building to a frenzy. Finally, the typewriter clacks again, a single phrase typed in bold black letters. "No one is safe." Wednesday's voice enters for the first time in the trailer, low, calm, and deadly serious. "This is not the end, it's the beginning of the end." The screen shatters as if made of glass, fragments scattering into darkness. Behind the shards, the Netflix logo glows crimson. A final line appears beneath it, stamped like a warning rather than an announcement. Wednesday Season 3, coming 2026, only on Netflix. The music slams to silence. One last typewriter key strikes. The screen goes black, a raven caws. And then nothing.